Hey everyone, it's me, Doomlink, and welcome back to Doomlink's Live Hunts. I need to get ready for a quest immediately because I joined this room some time ago, and the guy is probably getting impatient. I would like to go Gunlance. I will go Thunder Gunlance. We are going to be doing a triple Plesioth quest. If I seem as if I just got out of bed, it's because I did, not visually, but sonically. Leviathan. No, that's a water weapon, you idiot. We want... no, not that. We want the lightning gunlet. There we go, lightning blaze. Fucking hell. Why do I struggle so terribly with the simple things? Anyway, so... yeah, for once I actually have my keyboard on hand without having to go and get it at the start of the recording. That's really an improvement upon the usual, the norm. I don't have my chats up yet. I need to go and open the browser on my laptop, so you'll have to forgive me for that. Fortunately, in the time that it has taken for me to get ready, we have been able to get a third person in the room, which is actually excellent, because I don't really want to do two manhunts if you can... oh, it's N10. Well, what a coincidence, what an incredible coincidence, really. Of course, he knew that I was going live, so he came on. He could have been hunting anyway. That seems to be the case oftentimes. Yeah, chats will be up in a moment. In other words, at this stage I can't see what you're saying if you're talking to me, but I will be able to shortly. This is frustrating. My laptop is just a complete waste of space. It is a bomb of a laptop. It was never mine originally. I bought it secondhand, and it was shit then, and it's even worse now. I will be getting a new laptop eventually. It's just not a high priority because I'm not in need of a laptop outside of literally reading chats for live streams. Yeah, that's the reason why I haven't bought one. It's because it's not a priority. So, yeah, as well as that, I can use this current laptop as a drink holder without having to worry about spilling a drink on it, because it's a piece of shit. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like... I used to use my old laptop as a drink holder, and spilling a beverage on that would have been a whole lot more problematic, but I still did it anyway. But I have more peace of mind knowing that this thing is a complete piece of shit in doing that. So, what did Brandon say? Bring bombs and traps. I'll bring combinations for bombs, but I probably won't do that for traps, if you can forgive me. But I don't have combo books. You know what, fuck it, mate. I'll bring 2 large barrel bomb plus and just 1 trap, as I always do. I don't know why he feels that it's necessary to do that for Plesioth. We're going to fish each of them out anyway, and they're going to die really quickly. You know, Plesioth is a tier 2 monster or something like that, and we're dealing lots of damage, so I don't think it's going to be in any way problematic to get this hunt over and done with within like 5 minutes. So I don't know, some people just like to kill monsters as soon as possible, even if it is or entirely unnecessary. But anyway, I'm going to be frog gathering. I forgot to go and get my own frogs. If someone else has already brought frogs, then I'm sure they will take care of the fishing long before I can even get 1 frog, because you mostly get worms here. It's not many frogs. First try. There we go. Now, I don't know if he's here, right? He is here right now. Very good. Sometimes he leaves the area. It's very annoying when that happens. There we go. Now, I have seen people try to fish Plesioth out with a worm. Do not attempt that. It doesn't work. I think you can imagine why. Look at the size of the thing. Do you really think a single worm in the water is going to A, attract him, and B, provide even remotely enough food for him to be satisfied? Alright. Sorry if you didn't get to put your trap down fast enough, Brandon. I've, ruined his little plan, but the irony of it is that we actually want to take advantage of him flopping on the ground on top of the trap. He's so upset, I can imagine. I don't even have this charge. I'm sure he's really unhappy with what I just did, but you know what? He's going to have to live with it because I'm not really interested in this whole trapping the Plesioth and bombing it thing. It seems totally unnecessary. I think his fear is that Plesioth's going to limp into the water. I think that's his fear. He wants to make sure that it dies on land. I'm not too worried about being able to do that either. I think we'll get that taken care of. I will be able to read the chat momentarily. I think, oh, Yells and Tech are in the chat, and Forsaken Full On. Sorry I haven't been able to read the chat for the first, like, what is it, 5 minutes of the live stream. My laptop is just a real piece of shit, and it literally took 5 minutes for it to open a browser. I'm not joking. I'd better focus on the hunt. Friday visited the port. I've hunted with him before. There you go. Alrighty. Let's get this organised. I'm going to pause the playback because I'm not particularly interested in... Actually, I will carve you. I'm not particularly interested in watching myself back right now. It's really... Yes, I'm doing very well, Tech. Things are as normal. Oh, my laptop is so terrible. It can't even pop out a Twitch chat. It just chokes on that. It's like I've kicked it in the balls by actually inputting something that it has to, I don't know, do something about. It's like, this guy wants to interact with this web page. What do I do? But yeah, it would have been a whole lot better if we had all brought frogs, but that has not been done, so N10 and I are fishing in the lucky dip. Looks like N10 got one. At least I hope he did. It's not looking too hopeful. Brandon's like, what's going on, guys? What's going on? I don't know, he might not be that way. He might not be a complete and utter tool. He might be a nice guy. Look, look at him. Trap. Bring your own traps, you miserable dick. I can't bring traps, I've got combination materials for shots, because I need them for a What a miserable dick. Look at him go. Look at him go. You know, you don't even have to be a super high hunter rank to be completely mentally retarded. It's not actually required. You can be about hunter rank 600 and still be that retarded. He's so foolish. I can't believe that some people play him this way. You take responsibility for the traps because you're the one who wants to trap, buddy. That's how it is. It's not necessary for us to trap, quite frankly. It's actually more important that we fish him out than trap him. Oh, what? Now you don't want a two-man N10. What's going on? He closed the room? Oh, I see. He's throwing a big fucking tantrum. Basically, he is throwing a complete tantrum at this moment. I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's just... This is what happens when you are a slave to the community. You know, you join a room that's hosted by a guy who is actually this pathetic. Anyway. You've been disconnected. Boo fucking who. I bet the guy is just heaving and sobbing into his fucking 3 ultimate manual as we speak. Absolute obnoxious clown of a human being. Anyway. I mean, if you ever wanted to see what it's like to play with people like that, you know, I always talk about those sorts of people. I always say, oh, beware the high hunter ranks of the older Monster Hunter games, like, you know, early 3rd gen, and also, I guess all of 3rd gen and 4 Ultimate included, you know, beware the high ranked people. They are very, very strange. They treat the game as if it were a matter of life and death. You know, you can see it. You can see how they are. I mean, he's probably done for the day. I've probably ruined his whole fucking evening. I would guarantee it. He would be fuming. He might be just very, very upset, as opposed to sobbing. I don't know, it could be one or the other. Technically, crying and being upset can fall within the same category, but the point of the matter is that the guy is a complete idiot. Alright, I'm going to make a room N10 and then we're going to hope that people join. Friday was in that room. I'm just going to hope that he doesn't make a room because then that's going to cause problems for obvious reasons. G rank. Goodness me, I've never seen someone take a triple Plesioth quest so seriously. That's a new one. Alright, relaxed hunting, which is very much the opposite to what that guy wanted to do, clearly. Yeah, Tech, I mean, I talk about the Hunsterverse players being a bit simple in many regards, but at least they're not like that. Because what you just witnessed used to be pretty normal. You don't see it anymore because the communities of 3 Ultimate and, I guess, 4 Ultimate just... they're a thing of the past now. But there are still people playing this game, and as you can see, there are still people who behave in the way that people used to, and... yeah, there was a little bit less of it in Tri, back in the Tri community, but it was still around. It really was around in the high hunter ranks. You just sort of avoided it. It wasn't too hard to avoid. Usually you'd notice immediately if people were going to behave in that way, because it was a very social game. You know, you'd have one short conversation with the person and you'd realise, I know how you're going to play, so I'm just going to avoid you entirely. Fortunately, everyone was sitting here waiting for a room to be created, and so the room has been created and everyone is here ready to play. And by everyone I mean the random people who were sitting in the lobby of this community wanting to hunt something. Let's do 3 Barioth. Actually, no, yeah, we'll do 3 Barioth. And we can take it in turns if we want to, I don't really mind. But yeah. Ashut has sent a comment in, or on one of my YouTube videos saying, "No, you gay." So I just thought I'd let you all know. He's not here in the chat now, but he is here in spirit. So, what should I use? Probably, well, fire, yes, but how about longsword in honor of Tech? I'll actually use the Adjudition. It's a lovely longsword. Looks fairly simple when sheathed. I actually even like it sheathed. It looks rather... I suppose it's one of those very clean, simple designs that actually looks really nice. But when you unsheathe it, it turns into this blossoming, flaming, sculpture-esque longsword. It's very nice. Looks like I'm not the only one with a Moralis weapon. That's the Moralis Hunting Horn. I remember when I first saw the Moralis Hunting Horn in this game, I was like, what the fuck is that? I didn't even know it was a hunting horn. I didn't know what it was. I was very confused, but yeah, it's a hunting horn. Check it out. It's very nice. Oh, oh look. N10 is using one of the ugliest lances in the series. I also have it, don't worry, I'm not like knocking his weapon choice, I'm just saying it's a frickin' ugly lance, you know. I'm probably a bit too far away from the corner of the screen. I'll shift myself a little bit. There you go. That's slightly better. But yeah, as much as that previous hunt was a total waste of time, at least there's some entertainment value in that. At least you're able to see what I'm talking about when I say that there are certain people that you just don't want to hunt with. Those are the people that I'm talking about. Like, the guy didn't even want to take responsibility for his own strategy. He literally just threw it onto us, and when we didn't do what he wanted to do, he threw a fucking tantrum and closed the room. I mean... eat cock, mate. Chew on a big fat dick. Miserable clown. Alright. But yeah, just a 2-hour live stream today. So the more hunts that I can get done in that time, the better. Okay. Marioth starting area. I keep forgetting the reason why you give yourself the Felvine effect. I know there is a reason, I know it's not just some random thing, but I don't remember what it is. I was told somewhat recently, like only a few months ago, but anyway. Well, if you are actually in the UK tech, which I'm still not 100% sure about, then yes, it being cold wouldn't be entirely unusual. Weather at the moment is a bit all over the place. It's both hot and cold. It's the changing of the seasons. We're moving towards summer in the southern hemisphere. And yeah, it's basically raining, then hot, then raining, cold, stormy, then hot again with clear skies. It's a mess. So that is the weather at the moment. It's supposedly going to be storming in the evening, but it's like a hot early summer's day at the moment, so purely out of force of habit, I'm using longsword as 1 wood in 2nd gen. Oh, that's right, yeah, Felvine is used for, yes. Leo Gun's unfortunately disconnected. I'm sorry to see that, I hope he can get back in. So the reality is with longsword here, when I say that I'm using it in the way 1 would in 2nd gen, I'm basically prolonging the combo. I don't really want to prolong the combo in this game because the sooner I level up the charge gauge of the longsword, the better. Because you don't want to be doing a spirit combo and then not having that result in a leveled up gauge, because it's sort of like you're actually missing out on total damage. That's very nice me, I think, for that. Not referring sarcastically to the flinch, but rather very honestly thanking him for the paralysis of the monster, although it's not really helpful if he's already dead by the time he's paralyzed. But yeah. The sooner you level up the longsword, the better. So essentially what that does is it promotes just the endless spamming of the spirit combo. Friday has taken Leo Gun's spot. I don't know if I should feel sorry for Leo Guns, or glad that Friday has been able to get back into the room after it was closed by Brandon the giant fucking sook. But yeah, raining in South Australia. I forgot you were in South Australia, Forlorn. I had really forgotten. As far as what I've been doing, and I don't record all that much at the moment, like, I'm not recording daily, so it's good to give you an update on what I'm doing. Basically, I've been picking up Monster Hunter Freedom 2. I decided to do a character in that, and then port that over to Freedom Unite. And I was really shocked by just how wrong I was about all of my impressions relating to 2nd gen. Because the funny thing was that the only 2nd gen game I had ever played was Freedom Unite. So everything that I thought about 2nd gen was really just about Freedom Unite, and I was making assumptions that, you know, because Freedom Unite is this way, and the last game of 1st gen is another way, then everything that Freedom Unite is must be in some way characteristic of 2nd gen as a whole. And I've come to realize that that's not true at all. What I believed to be 2nd gen, or what I believed to be 1st gen, really is rather... it actually is that way for the entirety of 1st and 2nd gen, except for Freedom Unite. Now, to explain that in a slightly less convoluted fashion, the first 2 games of 2nd gen, namely DOS and Freedom 2, or Portable 2nd, depending on how you want to say that, they both are considerably worse. Well, I don't want to say worse, but they're a lot more rough around the edges in a very 1st gen sort of way as compared to Freedom Unite. Freedom Unite was a big step up. They improved a lot of things in Freedom Unite. Now, that's not to say that 2nd gen in the first 2 games, DOS and Freedom 2, were completely without improvement after 1st generation. There were slight improvements, but there were a lot of problems. For instance, I had no idea that it wasn't until Freedom Unite that you could actually send items directly to your box at the end of a quest. Even in Freedom 2, you're still putting that into your pouch instead of into your box. I did not know. I assumed that because that was in Freedom Unite, that was going to be in Freedom 2. It was not. So that was a fucking shock. As well as that, while there are more box spaces in Freedom 2 as compared to the likes of Freedom 1, they still fuck up the stacking system of items. So for example, you can only have a maximum of 10 in a stack for honey. Traps do not stack in the box. Things like that. There are just these arbitrary limits to how much you can stack certain items. Like, everything doesn't just stack to 99, so it's a storage nightmare, which was not addressed until Freedom Unite specifically. So it's really opened my eyes to just how fucked up Monster Hunter was until Freedom Unite. In other words, what I believed was addressed in the entirety of 2nd Gen, in fact, was really only addressed at the end of 2nd Gen, which is to suggest that Monster Hunter was so fucked up that it took them almost 2 full generations to unravel its mess. And some people will say, well, you're wrong, Doomlink. 1st generation is perfect. I mean, there are people who play 1st generation who are like that. But no, sorry. It's just not that way. But anyway, I've not played with Brandon before, no. But anyway, playing Freedom 2 was a big eye-opener, basically, and I will be continuing to play that. As well as that, Freedom 2 does have a bit of input lag, or input detection issues, I should say. It's not quite as bad as Freedom 1, but it's there. It's slightly better than Freedom 1, I have noticed, but it's, you know, it's a halfway point between Freedom 1 and Freedom Unite in terms of input detection. By that I mean the game recognizing that you've pressed a button. Like, I'm pressing these buttons to attack. Basically, sometimes the game doesn't even recognize that. It's really annoying. So, there you go. Oh, Brandon was the guy who left on a quest without me in the last recording because he didn't respond because I didn't respond for 40 seconds. Oh, was he the one? Ah, you see, the funny thing is that, was he the one? I had no idea. I had actually thought that he was a decent guy until he did that. There you go. Well, he can fuck right off. He's got absolutely no common sense as a human being anyway, so that's fine. I'm glad I'm not hunting with him. Yeah, Yells. Longsword is the same in Portable Third. In Portable Third, that's when they actually fixed it. After the mess that they had introduced in Try, where the actual charge gauge didn't deplete as you used it. That was at least my second Gold Crown Small for Barrioth. I already had one, apparently. Don't have a Gold Crown Large, though. Don't know why. Hey, Crimson Gunner. But yeah, it was very problematic in Try when you could just use the longsword as much as you wanted and your charge gauge would not go down. It only went down when you stopped using the longsword for like 2 minutes or something. Like, you haven't even touched a monster with a longsword for 2 minutes, then the charge gauge starts to go down. It was really bizarre. I don't know what they were thinking. It just goes to show that Capcom have these ideas, and then they don't actually test them out, or even think about them. It's as if they have this idea, and as soon as they have the idea, they can't go back on that. They have to actually implement it, and that's it. I don't know if it's because they're on a really strict and exacting timescale, but I almost cannot imagine it being anything else, because you'd have to be fucking dumb to think that if you're going to give Longsword additional damage through leveling up the gauge, why would you make it so that the gauge doesn't go down when you use it? Because the gauge going down when you use it is normal. That was from 2nd Gen. They were doing that in 2nd Gen. They got it right the first time. So why did they change it? Even though they were giving the longsword more damage. So they gave it more damage, then removed the balancing of it to make it even stronger. I mean, why? It's completely in violation of logic. But that's Capcom. I mean, I like Capcom as far as them being the ones who contrived this series from the ground up, and basically, are responsible for my favorite game series, but the shit they get up to is fucking incredible. It's like aliens just turning up and making a game. Because it's beyond my fucking understanding sometimes. Possibly Crimson Gunner. I mean, you might be right about that. Maybe the Portable Team, or Team B, of course, Mainline and Portable Team have, as I understand it, amalgamated at this point. But the, yeah, you could very well be right. Portable Team might have had a bit more of a sensible outlook, you know, more of a pragmatic view as to how to implement the ideas that Alpha Team, Mainline Team, implement in a game sense sort of fashion. So I feel like A-Team can't fucking make a game, but they can make a good concept, but maybe Beta Team just are more focused on how it works as a game. That would make sense. Well, World's development was... Do we know how long they were in the development phase for World? I'd say at least since 2016. I mean, it's definitely the case that they ran out of time with World. Anyone need anything? I haven't been giving the room any attention. Oh. I'd entirely forgotten that. Antenna's posted Jade Baroth, double Jade Baroth, which is good. I think that's fun. Jade Baroth was in Portable Third, wasn't he? Yes. Yes, he definitely was. But yeah, it's one thing to say that Capcom likes to engage in experimentation with the Monster Hunter series, but it's another thing to say, well, you know, there are certain things that you don't do because you just know that they're not going to work. You know that they're not going to work because it would make no sense for them to work. You're risking fucking up your game by testing something that is 99% likely to just fucking not work at all. So, yeah, if it's in violation of logic, don't do it. But apparently that's not Capcom's philosophy. Apparently not. And now they've just given up. I mean, they used to care about balancing, now it's like, no. Since around, you know, Generations Ultimate, they threw it out the door. They were like, nope. Fuck it. We can't do it, so fuck it. People will keep playing the games anyway, so fuck balancing. Let's do this. This will be good. Yes, well, let's not talk about that Forlorn. I'm not going to get into that discussion again. Almost every implementation in Rise, outside of the monsters themselves, was a step backwards. And people are perfectly welcome, and also entitled to disagree with me on that point, but it's not an opinion that I would respect. That's all I'll say to that. Sorry, Mia, I'm not going to accept your guild card. I only have one slot left. It's being saved for, I don't know, some kind of celebrity. I don't know who. If fucking, you know, the only celebrity that I would appreciate receiving a guild card from would be, I can't even remember his fucking name right now. That goes to show how much I care. What's his name? Mazirion. If Mazirion, and I know he doesn't play anymore, he might still play old Monster Hunter every now and again. But if he turned up in 3 Ultimate, yeah, I'd take his guild card. I wouldn't get on my hands and knees and beg him, but, you know, if he gave it to me, I'd be getting it. Anyway. Yeah, Mazirion was the 2nd gen guy. Back in 2nd gen. The community's moved on since then, but... yeah, he was great. He was very much disenfranchised by the changes that were made in 3rd generation, although I cannot relate to those opinions that he holds, but... Yeah, basically he had learnt to play Monster Hunter in one way and was unable to adjust, I think. He tried, he definitely tried, but he couldn't adjust. It wasn't fun anymore. Unfortunately, he had grown so attached to the series being broken, and he had learnt how to play through the brokenness of old Monster Hunter, that when they actually fixed a lot of problems, he just couldn't enjoy himself anymore. That's really what it comes down to. There was less to abuse in 3rd gen as well. Actually less to abuse. You know, diminishing returns on traps and flash bombs and all of that. That was an implementation of 3rd gen. There was no such thing in the older generations of Monster Hunter. There were lots of implementations that made the game truly harder. Not in the end, because if you were used to 1st and 2nd generation, it didn't feel harder, because the monsters were just designed in a more sensible and intuitive way. So therefore, there was no challenge for those people who had forced themselves to learn how to succeed in the face of monsters that were either unpredictable or had huge hitboxes, or, you know, all those sorts of things. Point being that a hunter tempered in the fires of 1st and 2nd gen will see no challenge in the lukewarm waters of 3rd gen. Yeah, exhaustion is a mechanic. I mean, you know what? I will actually hold off on, I suppose, criticizing his opinions, because I haven't heard him explain them. I've heard what his opinions are, but I've never heard the reasons behind them. He can probably convince me that he's got good opinions, you know, opinions that I can respect, but the opinions on their own, without explanation, I just don't understand. I can understand why you would have a preference for older Monster Hunter, that's fine, but to dislike 3rd gen implementation so much that you have to walk away from the series, that's very hard to understand. That's what I mean. It's not the fact that he might prefer the older way. That's perfectly fine. Everyone's entitled to that view, but to be so disenfranchised that you just have to walk away, I mean, that's an extreme reaction to what really is an improvement upon the series. And people can make a similar. People could respond to that by saying, "Oh, well, you can say the same thing about World." Well, you can't, actually. To an extent, yes, but generally speaking, no, because there are more fundamental changes, mainly due to the fact that they changed the audience. Like, the target audience changed in World, so the things that changed were not for the betterment of the series, but rather to make it more accessible to people who didn't want to deal with the way the series was. But that's a very long story that I don't want to get into. I mean, that would be the very lazy and simple rebuttal to everything I've said at the moment. Oh, you can say the same thing about World. Well, it works as a rebuttal on the surface, but unfortunately there is a deep fundamental issue with that argument. And again, I wouldn't want to get into it at this stage. I don't know how he felt about blights. I'm sure blights were nothing more than a mild annoyance for him. The thing with blights is that they never really added all that much difficulty, but it added more complexity, and yeah, I mean, the complexity that was added was appreciated, you know. I don't think blights were ever supposed to completely dominate the hunting experience in either a negative or positive way. I just felt that that was a way to make the hunts more dynamic, you know. This monster has an elemental capability, well, let's have there be a debuff as a result of that. Some sort of negative effect from said element. I think it's great. I mean, it's a great headspace for Capcom to be in, to seek to add not difficulty but complexity and intricacy to the series in such implementations, or by way of such implementations. I think that was a good decision. Look, that's a good discussion when it comes to Dragonblight. I actually do prefer original Dragonblight. I don't like the total removal of one's element. I think that's a bit lazy. I felt the Dragonblight lowering affinity was a lot more sensible. Now, there could be an argument for the lowering of affinity being worse for the hunter. It probably is situational. In fact, it's definitely situational, but I actually preferred the lower affinity. That's what I was used to in Tri, and I didn't like having my element removed once they changed it to be that. So, I don't know, that is definitely preferential, or, you know, an evaluative matter that everyone will have to... Well, not everyone's going to agree on that point. So, Ice and Water Blight are basically the same thing, but in different ways. The point is that stamina consumption, or I guess your stamina bar, will be harder to manage. Ice causes you to lose the... I need to find a better way to explain it than that. When you consume stamina, it is consumed faster with Ice Blight. Stamina recovers more slowly with Water Blight. So I find the worst of those three to be Ice Blight, because it really sucks out your... Sucks out, that's a weird way to describe it. You lose stamina really, really quickly with Ice Blight. It's not fun at all. Water Blight I can live with. There's a long explanation as to why I feel that way, but I don't care to get into that now. I probably should have sharpened up sooner, but as you can see, it didn't make much of a difference. By the time I was ready to sharpen, the second monster was dead. Thank you for the simplified explanation, Crimson Gunner. Alright. It's nice to do a Jade Baroth, a little bit different to what I normally do. That's why Portable Third was so exciting. I think some people don't like subspecies all that much. I thought that Portable Third was particularly exciting because of the subspecies, really. It was an opportunity to have a slightly different experience to try, which I loved. I loved try, so being able to hunt the same monsters but in a slightly different way was alright for me at that time. I do think different and unique monsters are best, but I'd rather new subspecies than literally the, you know, let's say for example, well actually I won't go into that. Notice how I stop myself before I get onto a rant. That's one of the ways in which I've evolved as a content creator over the years. Yeah, so basically if you're under the effects of Thunderblight, and it has always been this way, you'll have a higher chance of being stunned by a monster. I couldn't quantify that, but it's not too bad. I'd say Thunderblight would be the least disruptive of all the blights. If I'm under the effects of Thunderblight, I'm not worried. I don't really care at all. I don't get stunned under the effects of Thunderblight so often that it's an inconvenience to be under the effects of Thunderblight. That's the way I see it, but it definitely does make a difference. Let's do turns Mia next. Here we go. I'd actually rather give Friday a turn first, but there you go. I'm not sure what you mean by useless debuff being defense down. Defense down's a really bad one. I guess you mean the worst or the most inconvenient? Oh. Sorry, this is a G rank room. I mean, I understand you might need it, but this is precisely why I put G rank in the room title. It's so that I can refer to that in refusing to do low rank or high rank quests. This one's high rank that Mia's posted on the board, but we're just going to totally blast through it. What I'd recommend Mia do is build up a really good G rank character so that she can go and solo the high rank stuff. That would be my recommendation. Which is not in any way helpful to Mia because I've said it verbally and she can't hear that, but I guess I will treat it as a topic of discussion, but it's not important for me to tell her or something. Alright, Gold Raytheon. What do I want to use? Let's go Spread Thunder. How about that? That's a bit... Oh god, don't tell me this is my Thunderbow. If this is my Thunderbow, I'm going to be upset. My Thunder Spread Bow, that is to say. It's not, thank god for that. Okay. I don't know what's load up and what's not for my bows. I've just got no idea, so I'm going to go through them and see what I've got. I've got too many damn bows. Is it Acris White Bolt? I think it is. Yeah, so that's why I have load up equipped automatically when going through bows and determining what I have and what is used for what. It's because that ended up being a load up setup for Spread. I do have a text file to refer to, but that obviously requires that I open said text file and check it, which sometimes might take the same amount of time as just going through my bows and working it out for myself. The smart thing to do would be to open it ahead of time, but I'm not that smart. That is the long and short of the matter. Oh dear. My gunner pouch is always a bit of a mess. I have a whole lot less space in my gunner pouch usually. Oh, it's a mess because it's sort of... It hasn't been cleaned up after a previous status run that I was doing. And I don't even think it was the last thing I was doing. In fact, it definitely wasn't. It's basically the mess from a previous status run from a while ago is still there. Enten is using the Kurapeko, or the Crimson Kurapeko hammer, which is great because it retains that Peko Flint weapon design, which I actually kind of like. I think it's pretty cool that the thing's got a striker on it. A hammer, I suppose, to light the flint, create the spark, and then it's technically like an explosion of flame, but in this case, it doesn't really work with the thunder hammer, does it? But it's, you know, it's Monster Hunter. I haven't really used the Crimson Peko stuff. Probably because it's not as good, but Enten has crafted it to use it when he feels like it. You know, in a quest where it's not necessary to be... Well, I'd say Gold Raytheon's one of the quests where you would want to be at maximum effectiveness, but you don't always have to be. What are his stats, anyway? I can't snoop on players in the way that I can in 2nd gen. Alright, no, that's good. I mean, that's fine, actually. I don't know what the sharpness is like, but I'm sure with sharpness +1 it's alright. Friday says sorry. Oh, he can't join the quest. Oh, fuck. Mia just realised as well. Oh dear. I didn't realise myself. I do forget that it's an HR8 requirement. Mia is getting the shit end of the stick right now. No, it's good to use the shitty weapons because it's something different from the norm. Just makes it more fun. Noble Nuisance. Well, I regrettably have to change my loadout now. It was... no, I don't know what would be an appropriate element. I'll just go non-elemental. Did I end up making that Volcanus? If I didn't, I probably didn't, did I? No. I mustn't be able to or something. Basically, it's the Awakened Slime Greatsword of the game. I don't even remember it. I think, yeah. That's what it is. It's Pelagicite that I never have. I never have Pelagicite. Never have, never will. It's one of those ores that you just don't get. You don't really get it in quest rewards. You have to mine for it. Specifically underwater in the low rank and high rank Flooded Forest. And I think you can also get it from mining gen in high rank, but as you can imagine, I don't do those quests very often, so I don't have that right now. I don't think I have a... I don't know why I want to even do Blast, so let's not bother with that. I will instead... Do I have... an Awakened Poison Greatsword? That's the question. I just want to see if I do. I might, and I might not. What's that? I do. Yeah, man. Check that out. That's actually a really good poison value. Fucking 750. I'll take that, thank you. It's in G-Rank Flooded Forest too. I'm pretty sure Bathysite is the Pelagicite equivalent for G-Rank. It might be in the G-Rank Flooded Forest, but I think it's a much lower chance of mining it. I've already eaten. Some person, I don't know who they would be, but some individual in this world will go, "It doesn't have purple sharpness, Doomlink, don't use it." Eat my ass. Oh look, it's popcorn. I didn't even know popcorn was in this game. I genuinely had no idea popcorn was in this game. Okay. What the fuck? I've only been playing the game for 8 years, didn't even know popcorn was in it. I probably found out at some point, but oh. Mia disconnected on her own quest. Mia is having a bad day. Third time lucky on the quest, only to fucking disconnect anyway. It's a bad day for Mia. Popcorn gets 500 slime on Awaken. What the fuck? Oh yes, it does have bamboo yells, because pretty much I'm quite sure that every weapon from Portable Third is in this game. I'm sure there's like one or two that aren't in it, but like, for example, the Amatsu Magatsuchi weapons, they obviously wouldn't be here, but all the weapons that, like for example, bamboo is... I don't know how you make bamboo though. I'm quite sure bamboo's in the game. You had to use drink tickets to get that in Portable Third, but I'm pretty sure it's still in this game. I can't believe that popcorn gets slime value when awakened. That's pretty funny. I'll have to make it. It's probably got really shit sharpness, but still, that 500 slime is no joke. You're limping away. I'm not too surprised. Multiple monster quests. Arzuros. I felt like, I mean, he should have died with that greatsword charge as far as I'm concerned. Or maybe if you had purple sharpness, Doomlink. Yeah, maybe. But not this day. Raytheon, what is next? See, this is one of the real problems with this game. You don't get a list of monsters. Whose fucking idea was that? Some guy, some individual, actually decided that we're not supposed to know what monsters are in the quest when we're in the quest. Why? Fuck that person. It's not funny. Because I can't imagine it being implemented for any reason other than to laugh at the player. You have to memorize what we're doing in the quest. Assholes. Hey, Exio. But yeah, seriously. Fuck that. Oh, you see, I saw the bamboo bow N10, but... yeah, I assumed that the bamboo gun lance was in the game. Okay, turns out that popcorn is your bamboo, which is fine, but... I haven't been getting many poison procs, I don't know if you've noticed, but... Thank you for the resub, Ethan. Oh. Ethan's turned up. I didn't actually tell any of you. Ethan got COVID. He had to, you know, quarantine, as they say. Yes, I did see that you became terribly addicted to an MMO. You see, this is why I don't play them, Ethan. It's because they are addicting, but you can't help yourself. But I will say that it's nice to see. This is a big Raytheon. Look at the size of this Raytheon. She's fucking beefy. She's fat. She's been eating. Anyway, yeah, it's nice to see you playing something that's not Rocket League, I will admit, but... God, you were playing that. I don't mean to stalk, but... And I don't, generally, but... It became a thing where I would, out of interest, at very different times of the day, check to see if you were online in that game, and you were. Every day. And I was like, oh, well, that's that. Yeah, this monster is fucking fat. I don't know what's happening, Raytheon. If you're stress eating, then perhaps you should see a therapist. Maybe there's something that you need to address in your life that should not be, you know, remedied through overeating. Malnourishment is never the answer. But, really. Oh. Well, she's dead. All that food. And you never got anything out of it, except to die to a bunch of unders. I mean, maybe it acted as a distraction for you. Yeah, obviously there was some sort of domestic dispute between Raytheon and Rathalos that none of us got to see. Because we're not always here. We're only here when we're ready to kill them. We don't follow them. We don't actually see what they do in their own time. I'm sure there's a lot of fucking and arguing going on. And quite frankly, I don't need to see either of those things. Yes, I did get your message, Ethan. That's the last time I talked to you in my live stream. No. I was saying that I was intimately aware of the fact that you were terribly addicted to that MMO that you were playing. That was the thrust of what I was saying. You just killed this chicken that would otherwise be extinct in the real world. Oh. Hello. Yes, I was intimately aware of the fact because I was, you know, I was checking. I was out of... I'm literally having to repeat myself. I happened to realise that you were always online in that game. Yes, I saw you on Steam. I don't snoop people, but it turned into like a thing where I thought that I would, out of interest, see if you were online in the game at very different times of the day, and you were every time. So, yeah, that was a bit of a thing, as they say. Who did I get rations from? I carved something and got rations. Oh, it must have been the Gargler. It'd be nice if I could pay attention to what... No, it couldn't have been a fucking Gargler. Where did I get rations from? It couldn't have been the Gargler. Oh, it could have been. Maybe you don't get any carbs in it. Yeah, it was the Gargler. Alright, take it easy, Doomlink. Don't become so displeased with your own estimations. Trust your instincts. Oh, God. I haven't been playing terribly well in this one. Yeah, some Amazon MMO. Gwendolyn is male? I didn't know. I'm not going to get a very significant charge out of this. I was going to settle for a level 2, and then he flinched out of that position anyway. I'm glad the monster's poisoned, but still, I feel like I haven't been hitting him all that much. At least I can make up for it with a bit of passive poison damage, but... yeah, tremor, as you do. I'll settle for a level 2 on here. I really should only be using Mega Potions, because I'm going to get Mega Potions from each monster that I fight, so... Oh, of course you would do that. Well, thank you. It's very nice of you to position your tail right by me. Awfully charitable of you. I don't know why I'm using this greatsword as if I had critical draw. I don't think I have critical draw on this set. I shouldn't. No. Which is fine. You take what you can get. I don't know if you realise how funny that was from our perspective, N10, but basically, it looked as if Duramboros was about to enter the next area, and then we went in there, and he was nowhere. And then it was quest complete. After we stood in there for like 5 seconds. That was a bit odd. I don't know, I guess you flinched him or something? I don't know why he's turned the other way. Anyway. A bit weird. I won't question it too much. You think my internet shut itself? Possibly. And also thank you for the subscription, Crimson Gunner. I apologise for not having noticed it earlier. All subscriptions are greatly appreciated, needless to say. Just make sure I didn't miss anything. No. Very good. Okay. As usual, I'm slowly navigating through what I do have stacks of 99 of and don't have. Which is... oh, I got a gold crown small for something. Oh, it must have been a gold crown... it must have been a gold crown large for Raytheon. Because I'll tell you one thing, and I'm not in any way unsure of this fact. That was not a small Raytheon, that was a fat, overweight green dragon. That's what that was. So that was definitely a gold crown large for that monster. I'm not putting on shout-outs. I don't even need to explain why not. I don't even need to begin to explain why not. I think it's very clear that I do not fit into the category of streamer that would have shout-outs enabled. Ugh. How unpleasant. Fat green rat, hey ho scene. Charlie has visited the port. Friday can post. Aren't shout-outs the... I mean, I could be misunderstanding what a shout-out is, but is it not where the message written is read out on stream by some bot? Or is that just like... or does it not work that way? If I'm in any way wrong about that, then don't be too surprised. I just use Twitch as a platform. I don't care about all the little things that they do. You got me and you got the game, and if you need more than that, then I don't know. I'm not sure what I can do for you. It is that? Well, Ethan! Oh. You know me better than that. Why would I have some fucking bot marring my VOD with some fucking... I mean, I can't even begin to explain how inappropriate that would be. Anyway. If I do that, it's not even funny. Like, it's not even funny. If it were funny, then okay, but it's not. I'm perfectly content to invite hilarity into my live streams, but that's just dumb. That's straight up dumb. That's what that is. Anyway, end of discussion. I don't think I want to do Greatsword again. That was... I wouldn't say that was unsuccessful. But, yeah. Oh, I will, Ethan, you like that. You know me better than that. Lance, I suppose. That's a bit different from the norm. Ice is the primary weakness, isn't it? I might have to check that. Let's have a bit of a look. I've said this before and I'll say it again, I do love the orange look that has been added to this lance, sort of the Barioth / Sand Barioth combination. It's really nice. Oh, ice and water are equal. Okay. Let's... Okay, I'll bring a hammer for you, Yells. I don't know if that's a good idea, but I will oblige you for the reason that I don't use hammer nearly enough. Now, would I rather... What would I actually like to use? You know what I'll use? I'll use the Barroth Ravine Maker, because it's a hammer I don't usually use. How about that? There's no specific reason why I don't use hammer. It's for some reason I just don't think to use it. It's not like I've made a determination based on considering all possible options. That's usually not how it is. I usually just let a weapon type flash into my mind, or something. Strange as that sounds. And it's almost never hammer, and I don't know why. My subconscious mind doesn't like hammer or something, I suppose. I like Charlie's fucking look. He's going fashion hunter right now. He's got a matching set to his light bowgun. Oh my god. And he looks like a main character in an MMO or something. Oh my god. Look at him. Are you seeing this? He looks great. He's looking fucking stylish. My god. Anyway, I'm quite taken by his visual appearance. Oh, please. We've talked... Okay, Ethan is very much averse to dual blades as a weapon type. They made dual blades not suck, in your opinion, surely, Ethan, by giving them ridiculous mobility in 5th gen. So go play Rise or something. Do it. Oh. I was not expecting that to have so much range. Rust Duramboros is a subspecies of Duramboros unique to this game. It's worth mentioning. Of course, trying to catch up to the head is no fun at all. I'm sorry, Charlie. I have to apologise for that. He's probably not going to take it personally, but I'm doing what I can to hit the head. What are you doing? I don't like how he's jittering like that. Just going to do a basic hit just to establish it. Can't even do that. Chasing the head of a Duramboros. The reason why I wasn't sure if this was a good idea is because chasing the head of a Duramboros isn't quite as easy as you might think, because he's actually mostly attacking from the opposite side of his body. He uses his tail to attack, not his head. He sometimes uses his head, but the point is it's inconsistent. So, yeah, hammering a Duramboros is not the most fun in the world. I'm not going to have it... Oh, N10's also going hammer. There you go. N10 is regrettably aiming for the horns. I've got assistance today. Today is a good day. I think we both had the same idea to go to the left of the head rather than to the right. That is awkward, to say the least. Oh, we've both got the same idea, I think. Sorry, Friday. To stand near the head when you've got two people running hammer, it's not a smart idea. Not a smart idea at all, right? Bit of an untimely flinch there. Monsters poisoned, courtesy of N10's purple Ludroth hammer. Is there something different in how he moves? Not really. Not that I can think of, off the top of my head. He's just one of those subspecies that has a bit of a different appearance. You know, his tail is an axe instead of a hammer, at least according to the game developers. And the elemental weakness has changed. Oh, well, I was hoping to at least be launched into the other area. Well, thank you, Crimson Gunner. He remembers it so that I don't have to. This is one of the rare occasions where having two people on hammer is actually really fruitful. Well, at least I got a flinch there. This poor monster is flinching a lot. I think he's in bad shape. If you're worried about low sharpness, that's just the nature of this hammer. By the way. Seeing as though we've got 2 KOs, I might go for damage after this one. Which is to say that I'll aim for the tail instead of the head. Oh, I hate that. Oh, I got the golf swing on the tail still. That's encouraging. I'll take that. Hey, potato. Yeah, tell Ethan about that. He knows all about that MMO. I don't know if you're making a very delayed comment about Ethan's addiction to said game, or if you're just making the comment entirely independent of that, but yeah. Definitely a topical remark either way. Oh. I don't want to be upswinging Friday anymore. I feel bad for the guy. He doesn't even have fully upgraded dual blades. Poor bastard. I'm scared by what he posts. I'm always scared that he's going to post fucking Brachydios or something. I find that the best way to not be addicted is to not actually engage with the addicting thing in the first place. It's a pretty good solution. I mean, if you've got the time to play an MMO all day that you're probably not going to play in a few years' time, then fine, but it's all about quality of time investment. The Monster Hunter series is a great game to invest a lot of time into because you can get a lot of use out of that. Look at N10. He's still playing this game and he's got like all the weapons in the world. He's basically put all this time into the game so that he can use all these different weapons for his own enjoyment. He's getting something out of the time that he's put into it. That MMO, fuck if I know what he's going to get out of that time implement. Or time investment. I mean, people don't think of it in those terms. I will admit that I'm kind of unique in that regard. A lot of people just play a game for X amount of time, for X amount of enjoyment, and don't consider if they've actually made a good investment. I actually think of it in terms of investment. That's why I put so much time into the Monster Hunter series. Ew. PvP. I don't have time for PvP and MMOs. That's repulsive. Everyone's got their own thing, I guess, but you know my opinion. If you didn't know my opinion, you know it now. I'll put it that way. PvP and MMOs. Good thing I haven't eaten today, otherwise I'd be holding in my last meal. Ugh. Get your nose out of me. He's pressing his nose into me. Maybe it's some sort of friendly greeting. If only. Oh, well, I might carve this. It could be a big nibble. I hadn't considered that. He was sticking his nose into my crotch. I was a little bit too distracted by that sensation to take notice of his size. Sensation. As if I've got some sort of, you know... The game's hooked up to my nervous system, you know. I've got wires that you just can't see. I feel every sensation. I can feel the smell of the broken humps. Oh, let's not. Let's not go further in that. Because I imagine pus coming out. Oh, I say let's not go further, and I go further. But anyway. Most things that are highly hyped are overhyped. Most things. Okay, so can we, ladies and gentlemen, just take a moment to appreciate this guy's set? Basically, he's got a gun that is of a totally different monster to that of his armor set. He's got... What are the legs? Is that all the same? Is he using the full Glacial Agnactor set? I think he is. But it just works so perfectly with the Ivory Laggy light bowgun. He's got like MMO level fashion right there, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, my box is full, guys. See that red number? Yeah. Full box. I need to fix it. Oh, okay, that's problematic. If I get good talismans here, I'm fucked. I'm well and truly fucked. Thank God they both suck. I need to go and make some space in my box. That is a high priority. I'm sorry, Potato. Potato was eating when I made my comments about the hump of the Duramboros. I'm sorry. I do not consider that. I don't even think about whether or not people are eating when they watch my live streams, but yes, that would be a perfectly reasonable thing to do, and I apologize for ruining your experience. Oh god. What do I have too much of? What do I not need? Do I need all this? All these needleberries and bombberries? Yes, I do need them. Because it's not just that, there's also scatternuts in there. All those scatternuts. When am I going to use scatternuts? Broken shells? Get the fuck out of my inventory. Get out of here. Well, I won't remove the single stack, but I'll get rid of the 5. 5 broken shells taking up the space in this fucking box. I mean, there is a premium on space in this box. I'm not going to have it taken up by 5 broken shells. You've got to be joking. Fire cell? Yeah, get out of it. Get out. Fucking fire cell. Now, armor stones, it was good in theory to get a bunch of armor stones, but it turned out in practice to be a complete waste of my time. And that's a discussion I don't really need to get into. That's probably enough. It's not much, but it's better than nothing. That'll do for now. Who posted that? Was it Friday? It should have been Friday. So, I don't know why he's doing Rust Rambrers. Maybe it was a... Oh, it could have been a key quest. Yeah, it must have been a key quest. In that case, let's see what we've got in the way of advanced quests. 2 Baleful. So, water. Yeah, Rust Remember as being a key quest sounds about right to me. Alright, water. Hunting horn. What's my water hunting horn is the question. We're about to find out. Hello? Do I have one? I should have one, really. Did I go past it? No, I don't think... You know what it is? It means if I don't have a water hunting horn, what it means is that there is no hunting horn that has both water element and an attack up large song. That's what it means, so I will go slime, therefore. Unfortunate, but I'm in a hunting horn mood, so I'm not going to go back on that. Renege on my decision to use that. For it has been ordained in the mind of Doomlink. Exchanger, get Exchanger. Very good. Cool cat. I want cool cat. I might be exceptionally cool, but I don't want that instead of Exchanger. If you're gonna give me one skill, give me Exchanger, please. Fuck me. But don't actually. Alright. I think we're good to go. I will actually check to see what the combination is for affinity up. Hearing protection will be important because I don't think anyone here has high grade earplugs. They might. I've got, aside from me. Let's see if N10's got Rocksteady or high grade earplugs. He's got Rocksteady, so he's going to get a lot of benefit out of my Hunting Horn song. Friday, well, who cares about Friday? No, I'm kidding. He's obviously not got high grade earplugs. I can see from his set. Full Jaggy does not have high grade earplugs, in case anyone needed to be informed of that matter. Alright. Off we go. Nibble Snuff Greatsword. Well, whatever floats your boat. Now, I hate this starting point. See that fucking Bullfango right there? If you don't move immediately, you'll be immediately thrown on the ground by that Bullfango. He's an asshole. I'm just going to see if I can paintball the one that these guys aren't fighting. That way we don't have to look for it. Yeah, this'll work just fine. The other Baleful should be over here. Oh, never mind. Apparently I'm being really, really dumb. Which is fine. This is the one they are fighting, not the other one. That's what I mean by being really dumb. Okay. I'm going to go and find the other one. Not to solo it, but to paintball it, because I'm on a paintballing mission right now. It is what I've been charged with. Okay, fine. Fuck. I do have Psycho Serums for moments such as these. Okay, you start over here. Very well. This is a dereliction of responsibility, quite frankly. Like, my responsibility right now is not to paintball this monster, it is to play my music. Can you get over here? You motherfucker. I hate you. Okay. Yeah, no. I'm feeling really patient today. Really patient. Whatever you throw at me, I'll stand back up and carry on like a soldier. Like an iron warrior, Get down here so I can paintball your stupid ass. Thank you. I think what I'm really upset about is the fact that I missed my first attempt at the paintball. No, no, no. No, I can live without that. And how many followers do I have? I've got 273? I don't know, it's a bit early to be heralding the arrival of 300 followers. I don't think, you know. It'll probably be another, it'll be another few months, I think. Can you get up? I understand that you might be. Okay, I need to play high-grade earplugs for N10 as soon as possible. What have we got here? Okay. Corner Horner. Look at him go. No regrets, quite frankly. Now, if I encore this, does it last for longer? Probably not. No. Very well. And what's the other one? Okay. I know what it does, I just didn't know the order in which I was supposed to play the notes. And that is the point. Oh, fuck! I fucked up the notes and I got paralyzed. What is the... Oh, it's... Okay. Sorry. So, starting with... Okay, so it's double orange, then green. Oh, stop with this behaviour. I'm not in need of it, and quite frankly, you're better than that. Okay. Finally. Doomlink, that's hearing protection! You're looking at the wrong song! You fucker! Usually it ends or starts with purple, that's why I'm confused. Okay. Fucking hell. I'm usually at least a little better than this at Hunting Horn, I can assure you of that. And then what does it end on? It ends on that. Okay, fuck. Probably potato, I think that's perfectly possible. I'm not encoring that, I'm not in the mood. Hunting Horn's not my gig today. And I've got a tough crowd on top of that. This monster is paralyzed. Well, actually, no. The last paralysis was... No, actually, both paralyses were from this monster, so... I'm upset. Oh, I need to do self-improvement for attacks harder to break. Allow me to do that. Because I was bouncing off the face before. It's called Attack Deflection Prevention, slightly more descriptive. Well, perhaps not more descriptive, it's just a better way to describe it. It doesn't describe anything else than attacks harder to break, it's just a more articulate way of putting it. Actually, attacks harder to break is more accurate. Attack deflection prevention, the word prevention implies that it cannot allow for a bounce. Whereas I think you can technically still bounce on certain things with attack deflection prevention. I don't know exactly what, I think there might be one thing that's so hard in the game that you still bounce off. But maybe not. Maybe not in this game, so maybe it's accurate, I don't know. I seem to have a vague memory of, with that in effect, still bouncing on something, I just don't remember what. I know that's entirely unhelpful, but... Anyway, shut up. Alright, so I'll do the... I feel like I haven't contributed much in this hunt. My best contribution so far has been to paintball this monster. But at least the team got here nice and quickly. It's all me. It's thanks to my assistance. Alright, and then... There we go. So this is offending. Oh, already got the bonus, so I don't need to encore that, but I'm wasting my time. It's alright. Doomlink wasting his time is pretty normal. Alright, we want orange. I'm just making sure that N10's got high gradient plugs at all times. And then this, right? Yes. Almost rolled into that. Okay, everything's under control. I don't need to worry about any other songs. Health recovery small is, well, it might be cumulatively helpful, but not immediately so. Which is to say, if Charlie were to heal himself right now, maybe he'd, you know, get the last little bit topped up by my health recovery yet. But I'm not in the mood to be that helpful right now. And it really wouldn't be that much of a help anyway. It's pretty bright outside, isn't it? Ugh. Hopefully I'm not too illuminated. If I'm too illuminated, then I'll sort of apologize for that. I never thought that I would give high grade earplugs for N10 only for him to greed for smash charge. What is this? Monster Hunter World? I'm almost sickened by what I've witnessed. Greeding for smash charge instead of true charge. I do think they've fixed smash charge in this game. It used to be, oh, Friday's getting eaten. Violently sucked by a large leech-esque monster. Alright. Good hunt indeed. Nightmarish Moor, I think that's the rare, isn't it? If it's rarity 7... Excuse me, no, I'm thinking of high rank. I'm reverting back to try rarities. Anyway. Can you... What was that? It was like a fucking hip check from a baggie. I'm definitely not in need of that. Where's my phone? It's all the way over there. Oh well, it can stay over there, I guess. I'll check the Freedom Unite chat, just to make sure nothing's going crazy. I am moderating there, so... I've got... I don't even want to talk about what I'm looking at right now. That GIF yells, if you're here, that's what I'm laughing about. Yeah, that's a fucking... That's a thing, right there. Don't even have any words to describe that or to... No, there's no comment to be made. Anyway. What are we doing next? N10's quest. That's what we're doing. Sounds like a plan. Okay, we need to sell Giganox stuff. This, specifically. Yes, get out of here. Alright, well. It's a creepy, edited Wallivan, basically. In full size and with this animated, displeased face. It's fucking weird. It's like, I don't need to see that again. Posted by Deadpool, who has a habit. I mean, this guy in the Freedom Unite chat, named Deadpool, he's struggling so much that almost every time I see him type, he's posting a GIF of a man throwing himself out a window. Like, different GIFs of the same action. I didn't realize there were so many filmed scenes of people throwing themselves out of windows, but yeah, he's been having a bad time in Freedom Unite, so... Oh well. Diablos and Black Diablos, well, okay. I will go ranged in that case. Ugh, spread ice is the fucking Arco Tri thing, no. So I'll go Pierce Ice? Okay. What's Pierce Ice? Which is to say, what bow do I use for that? No, I think Rapid is Barrier, so... Well, we'll find out. I'll check just in case. Yeah, that's my Rapid Ice bow. So... Pierce Ice? What the fuck? What's going on? Oh, I hope you're not my Pierce Ice and my Spread Ice bow. It'll be a sad day. I think that's what's going on. Yeah, that's what's going on. In that case, I'll just go Spread. Fuck it. Arco Tri W is my Pierce and Spread Ice bow. It's not good. Friday left. I'm sorry, Friday. I wish we could have been of more help. But if you can find a room where you can rank up, I think it'll be a happy day for you. It's a bit hard. There's a bit of a dearth of rooms at the moment, but a dearth of players, in fact. No, not the slurping it. Not that again. Don't post that. It's bloody... It's hilarious. Like... I will say that without equivocation. That is a fucking funny picture, but... That is not safe for work. Oh. I think I'm going to lower the brightness of my room light. And also, in the meantime, I will actually go to the bathroom. I'll be back in like 3 minutes. What is my hair doing? Stop that. It's got this fucking part, right? Yeah, it's bloody annoying. Okay, I'm back. Alright. Amster has visited the port. Hello. Tyrant Terror. Oh. I'm definitely terrified. This guy's elusive. Look at him go. He's fucking... I'm just trying to have a look at his character and he's slipping around. He's like a ninja. Slippery bastard. What's his under rank? Oh, 288 I think that says. On my gamepad, my distant gamepad. N10's going rapid though. Not really in the mood for that. A no for what, Ethan? You've got spread too on that bow. Isn't it spread 3 on the load up though? It's more of a rapid bow. Okay. I wonder if that ends up being better than my setup. That's what I wonder. Because I've got spread 4 on the load up here with... look, that's a hard one. Because I've got affinity. I don't know, you'd be looking about... look, I think that we're both not doing well right now. We could both be doing a little better in terms of spread ice damage, but... oh, I don't think I can shoot power coatings, but I can shoot paralysis, so I will bring paralysis coatings. Hi, says the young lady behind the counter. It's better than that weird fucking thing that doesn't even sound like a human being. And by the way, that was a pretty accurate imitation of the sound it's made. It's just weird. Inviting you to the stream. You never asked. When did you ask? Friend stream? What? Well, first and foremost, I didn't see the comment, and second of all, that's not... And in Discord. Well, I can bring you in, Ethan. I don't mind, really. I'm perfectly happy to do that. Let me set it up, though. I have to get my earphones. Where are they? Alrighty. Earphones, and then... oh god. I don't mind setting this up, really. We do have 4 people, so I can leech for the first minute or 2. Fine with that. In the words of James Rolfe, it's like trying to stick your dick in a Cheerio when it comes to plugging this thing in. Oh god. Okay. Shift myself a little more over here. Hold on,
Ethan.
What's that?
That's me. Oh god, I've got myself in stream. I can hear myself. Oh no. Feedback. Alright, I'm here.
I'm messing with your audio level.
Am I loud?
Not loud enough yet.
I can get closer to the mic if you need me to.
That's probably fine. How are you doing, by the way?
I am well. Completely COVID-free. Believe it or not, my entire COVID experience was relatively mundane. Did not have a whole lot of trouble getting through it. I was not in pain. I had no shakes, no shivers, no fever. The only thing that happened was I lost my taste and smell, and that was it. So it's relatively light COVID experience.
Well, quite frankly, that was your opportunity to eat really, really healthily, which I'm sure you didn't do.
Why do you say that?
I don't know, I just have a hunch. Because usually convenience does not lead... and when I say oh my god, it just got super fucking dark. The sun just went behind the clouds. That's incredibly frustrating. And it's slowly coming back. Very good. Usually fast food in America, and when I say usually I mean always, is not good for you. So I'm assuming that...
For your information, I didn't eat fast food.
Okay.
I ate grilled cheeses and cans of soup.
Well, okay, if that's... Yeah, no, look, I'm not gonna... Okay.
Which, look, I know it's not the healthiest option.
No, I will withhold all
relatively
judgment.
Healthy soups. And the grilled cheeses, I only put 2 pieces of cheese and a little butter.
Okay.
But I was sick. I wanted to feel good.
You weren't sick, you were sick.
Yeah, I was sick. I was taking care of me, you know?
Okay. As you do.
And I played New World the entire fucking time.
Yes, I can imagine. Well, not just imagine, I can actually vouch for that, having witnessed it myself. Not the playing, but the... Ethan's in-game playing New World on Steam.
Yeah, I don't know how it happened, man. I hate MMOs. I never play them because I hate their formula. And
Actually,
my friends were like...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I had completely forgotten that you had very clearly put on the record the fact that you do not like MMOs or their formula. And I'd never questioned that. For some reason, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, my friends kind of peer pressured me into getting it, right? And I was like, no, I'm never gonna play it past this COVID vacation. Like,
Why did you give in?
Because they were right. I had nothing else to do, and it was either that or play Rocket League for like 100 more hours. And I was just like, well, I mean, all of my friends that are playing games right now are playing this game. It's only $40. Why not? If I get to hang out with my friends while we're doing it, I'll give it a try.
This was your chance to get back into Monster Hunter.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Why would I get back into Monster Hunter?
I'm offended by that.
You're offended by it?
Yeah, I'm actually offended by that.
Monster Hunter has no future, bro.
Hello? It doesn't need a future. There are so many good games in the series to go back and enjoy.
I mean, yeah, let's just go back and let's get in our time machine really quick and travel back to the 1950s. Listen, I you know I like Monster Hunter, but I haven't needed it for a while. I haven't been in the mood. And I can't just play Monster Hunter if I'm not in the mood. I don't know how you do it. I guess you're just always in the mood for Monster Hunter.
No, it's not true. I do take very... Okay. The way I do it is that I always play Monster Hunter occasionally for recording purposes. So if I'm doing a live stream or whatever, like I can get on and play Monster Hunter for a recording several times a week, even if I'm not playing it in my own time. But as far as playing Monster Hunter in my own time, I do take extended breaks from that. Like, I don't just sit down and play Monster Hunter in my own time for weeks on end, for years on end. I can't do that, it's impossible. I have cycles. Like, I'll have a Souls cycle, I'll have a first-person shooter cycle that I go on. Well, it's all one cycle, but with different parts to the cycle. That would be a slightly more articulate way of putting it. But, basically, I'm sort of just now coming out of my first-person shooter phase of the cycle, and I'm sort of in the Monster Hunter period now.
I kept seeing you pop onto World at War. I was like so tempted. I was like, oh man, I could go play that with him.
So tempted?
I was.
You make me sick. You were so tempted, yet you didn't even try. You didn't even say, hey.
Dude, I am addicted. I have an addiction, right? It's a disease.
Oh my god. Well, having said that, I mean, that was mostly in jest. Unfortunately, there aren't many people playing online at the moment in World at War. It's something happened.
You kept playing zombies or whatever, which I'm so sorry about that. Because the zombies in that game doesn't look good.
Don't apologize. It's good fun. I mean, you don't know if it looks good or not. Those were custom maps that I was playing. Some of them are a bit fucking not that great.
Well, I mean, I've never really been a fan of zombies, so I guess I'm kind of not the guy to make a judgment call on that, you know?
No, fair enough. But yeah, I take, however many months in the year that I can allocate to one thing. I'll just sort of go in a rotation. Like, I will most likely, after being done with Monster Hunter, like once I'm not in the mood to do Monster Hunter anymore in my own time, which I'm currently in the mood to do, I'll probably jump on Souls. Now, if I were smart, I'd be using my Souls itch to play Nioh, but I'm not doing that. Like, I can't help myself. I can't play Nioh because it's too similar to Souls, and there is still so much more for me to do and enjoy in the Souls series. Like, there's almost, you know, there's always a new build for me to make. There's always a build for me to return to.
Do you hear yourself?
I do hear myself, but you know, it's not referring to one game. Like, this is Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, and Dark Souls 3. Now, different builds in all of those games, I mean, you're talking about a lot of stuff to do. So, it's hard to go and play Nioh, I have to say. Because at the end of the day...
I'm not alone in my addiction.
Well, it's not addiction, though, because I need time away from it. You know, you're not fucking mainlining heroin saying, oh, I need to take a break. I'm going to stop doing this for a while.
Some people do. You don't know their life.
I do know their lives. They can't function without it, so don't give me addiction, mister. I'm quite content to take time away from the things that I'm supposedly addicted to.
Well,
and I need it, in fact. No, I have different phases,
well, me,
but as far as Monster Hunter, I'm always playing it for recordings.
And for me, this was very odd. This was super strange. I did not see it coming. But I enjoyed it, and I'll explain why shortly. I'll do a little review for you so you know exactly what it is that I'm talking about, why it hit me the way that it did, and all that. But I decided to get to level 60 because that's the max level in the game right now, and I had never played an MMO and maxed out a character in my entire existence as somebody who's played 1 or 2 MMOs. Like, I played MapleStory, got a character to 120, and was like, okay, I'm bored. I can't do this anymore. The grind is too fucking miserable. I just can't.
Okay.
I played Dungeon Fighter, got a character to like level 30, and was like, okay, I'm bored. Can't do this anymore. Part of that was that I was not taking part in the social aspect of the game. But I just kept playing MMOs, and I was like, this is so boring. I don't understand why people like this. And with this one, since I was enjoying it, I was like, okay, I'm going to get a character to 60, max him out. And be one of those people that when you log into a new MMO, you see like a max character running around the starter town and go like, oh, I want to be like him one day.
Oh dear. You know that all those people turn up in the starter towns just so that reaction takes place, you know? Like,
oh yeah, dude, I've been wandering around the main town for a while. Just chilling, just like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, no photos, please. No. I'm not photogenic at all. Oh, stop. You know what I mean? Yes. Oh, how did I get this? How did I get this gear? You wouldn't be able to wear it even if you had it, bud. But hey, yeah. Maybe one of these days. You know, hitting them with that attitude.
Yeah. No, I mean, that really is the MMO special. That's the experience. That's what we all try to achieve in playing MMOs. I shouldn't say we, because I'm not much of an MMO player myself. I, like anyone else, do have the capacity to be addicted to them, but I don't touch them. Like, for example, I played a very, very little bit. This is the crazy thing. It feels like a little bit. What felt like 20 hours of Elder Scrolls Online ended up being 160. It was I couldn't believe that I'd put 160 hours into that game. It felt like I'd barely touched it. I wasn't like really wanting to achieve much in the game. I just wanted to try it. I really just had a cursory taste test of the game. And I dumped 165 hours into it, and it didn't feel like that, and I was like, holy shit, if I actually really like this game, I'd probably just be putting thousands of hours into it. Like, it's scary. I don't have that sort of willingness to dump all of my free time into a single game. It's not nice, in my opinion. Everyone's got their own thing, but it's not my thing.
Yeah, it's not mine either, clearly, and I have such an addictive personality that at some point I'm going to have to stop playing this, but it's so much fun, and this is the part where I explain to you why it hit me the way that it did. So this game was designed for PvP. It was not designed as
Oh,
an MMO. The MMO aspect of the game was an afterthought because when the initial game was shown off, the players were like, meh. Like, we like the idea of a giant single server for a PvP game where people just go in and they fight wars over territory. But there was no MMO aspect to the game. It was 100% PvP. They added the MMO aspect, and the MMO aspect of the game is okay at best. It's not great. Like, you can get a better questing experience on almost any MMO. Like, the stories are the lore is really good, but the way that the story is told is not that good. Like, every quest feels relatively the same,
okay.
but the job system and the crafting system is very in depth and very fun.
Well, that's
And the
good. That's a big
PvP,
part of it.
my guy, the PvP is insane. It's really good, like really stupidly good. Um, they took a honestly, it feels like you're playing. Okay, so imagine this, right? You're playing
Hmm.
Dark Souls
Okay.
and you're in PvP,
Yeah.
and then behind you, 25 people spawn, and then in front of you, 25 more people spawn, and then a big thing pops up on the top of the screen and says you have to take these locations, kill anyone who gets in your way.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, shit. That's what it feels like. It plays the PvP at least plays like Dark Souls PvP, and it's
Oh, it's
really fun.
definitely Dark Souls inspired as far as, you know, you can just like PK, like just play or kill people. From what I think, I can't remember if it was N10 or Potato who mentioned that, but I think it was Potato. He said that you can just like turn up and attack someone on the side of the road or something.
You can, but only if they're flagged for PvP. See, when you're flagged
Oh,
for
okay.
PvP, in the alpha, everyone was flagged for PvP. There wasn't an option to turn it off. The
Okay.
players complained, and they gave you the option to turn it off and turn it on. But to incentivize people to play in PvP, they give you a 10% flat rate bonus to experience.
Okay.
So you don't see a whole lot of people in PvP. Like, for instance, I got all the way up to level 60 and didn't play PvP for
Yeah.
the most part. I'm playing PvP now because now I'm high enough level where, like, I can run around the map and not be worried unless I run into another level 60, which is relatively rare. You might see one every 40 minutes or so in town. Um, but it's they also have stuff like, so for instance, they have uh, these locations, these towns, and each of them has a region. And there are these three factions in the game. At level 10, you have to pick one of those factions. And in every one of the towns, there is a faction board where you can collect quests for your faction. And the more quests that you and your faction do in that town, the more your influence rises. If your influence maximizes, you can go to war. A company, which is a guild, can declare war and then recruit people who sign up for the war. And there's a war sign-up board outside in the town. So you grab the highest level players that you can with the best. Like, if they have a reputation on the server for being good in PvP, you snatch them up for your war. And then you
Right.
go and you play basically what is Dark Souls PvP, but with, like, capture points. Like, mix Star Wars Battlefront 2's capture point thing, which I forget what it's called. Um, what do they call that? Control?
I could not possibly help you with that. Never
Well,
played a
they
Star Wars
they
game.
have it in Call of Duty too. It's
Oh,
kind of like
flag.
capture.
Well, they say flag in Call of
Yeah,
Duty anyway.
it's kind of like capture the flag. But what you do is there are these 3 points on the map, and if you're a defending team, all you have to do is survive 30 minutes without all three of those capture points being taken. And there's a respawn timer. There are like ballista weapons that like you can use to defend your base. Like, I'm talking like you have cannons on your fort and stuff that you can shoot down at them. There's, defenses that you can put on your towers, and then all they have to do is capture all three. If they capture all three at the same time, they win, and it's over. But if you can
Right.
survive 30 minutes, then you keep your territory. And if your company controls a territory, then you set the tax rates, and then everything that everyone does in that town, like for instance, if they want to craft in your town, they have to pay into taxes, and those taxes go straight to the company.
So people crafting refers to other players, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Like that, what you're describing right there is something that everyone has wanted to have implemented, and something that all game designers wanted to have as a concept, but never did. That's pretty good. Like, to really have the players take control of the cities for the other players to, you know, deal with the consequences of.
Oh, and there have been consequences. It's like Game of Thrones. I just recorded a conversation that I had with a random Barney on the road, and we call the purple faction Barneys. I'm in the Marauder faction, which were green. But the purple faction, I just ran into a guy on the road, level 44, who was like, hey man, I just wanted to let someone know that there's a bunch of spies from my faction in your server, and I'm telling you this because when the timer runs out for me to switch my factions, I'm coming to Marauder. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, are you in your faction's Discord? And I was like, I didn't know my faction had a Discord. And he's like, yeah, you got to check to see in your faction chat in game if they have a Discord, because our faction has a Discord where almost all of the high level players go and talk war strategies. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I immediately got invited to the server. As soon as I said, hey, is there a Discord for Marauder and Roush, which is my server? Immediately got an invite. And probably because they saw my level. And he goes, yeah, there's a bunch of people in that Discord that are spies for this Discord. And there's also people watching them stream with zero delay, and they're like they're relaying that information to our faction who they're fighting at the time.
That's very
interesting. I was like, damn, you guys take this shit so far. That's so sweaty. And he's like, yeah, man, these dudes are like, they're mad cringe, and they're like, they're playing really grimy. And
you say that, but as far as I'm concerned, if you're putting that much time into an MMO, you will go that far. Like, what you're describing really is just... that sounds perfectly normal. They're just using the tools that they have on hand to get a one-up over the enemy. I mean, it makes sense that they'd take it that seriously.
Yeah, well, they're still losing, so...
well, that's why they're resorting to such tactics, no doubt.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's like Game of Thrones in here. And then the economy is 100% player-based, so there's not a single vendor NPC in the entire game. You want arrows, you have to buy them off the market. If you want something for crafting, you have to buy it from another player. Like, everything that you get, you either go out and get yourself and you craft it, or you have to buy it off the market.
So basically what Amazon was seeking to do was to create the MMO that everyone wanted, but that no one could actually manage to make. And whether or not they've achieved, you know, the ideal would be up for debate. I don't know much about the game, but it sounds like they're really trying to shoot for that. And if they are, then that's a good precedent to set for the rest of the industry to follow, because that has been the big... and I could be perfectly talking... like, I could be talking out of my ass. I might not know what's been done in the MMO space over the last 10 years. I haven't really been keeping my finger to the pulse, but as far as I'm aware, MMOs have been mostly NPC focused, but with, you know, MMO aspects as far as, you know, players being able to see each other and then, you know, interact as far as quests are concerned, but that would be the limit. But what you're describing, Ethan, is basically, you know, this is the ideal of, say, .hack, for example, where it is entirely based on players. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I actually was talking in my Discord server with the guys that I play with the other day, and I was like, man, if I could get trapped in any video game in a virtual reality, like, Neuralink kind of way, it would be this one, because it's so in-depth. The only problem is that there wasn't an MMO planned for it, so we have growing pains. Okay. Like, the MMO aspect was a second thought, added last minute. It only showed up in the beta, and then now it's in the full game. And like I said, it's really it's good, but other MMOs do the whole questing thing better.
That's the thing.
It is
Give
getting
it time.
better.
Give it time. I think they're ambitious. I don't know. This is the thing. Like, MMOs obviously have the potential to change a lot over time, and I think that their head's in the right place, and if they're serious about this, they could very well create the biggest MMO of the 2020s.
I think they have. Personally, I really do think that they have. I think it plays better than Final Fantasy 14. I've been watching somebody, the girl I'm talking to has been playing Final Fantasy 14 when we hang out, like to just show me the game, because she's desperately trying to get me to play, and I'm like, I don't play MMOs, and she's like, well, you're playing New World, and I'm like, well, it's barely an MMO, like it's more of a PvP type thing. They're even adding like MMR based matchmaking and stuff, and she was just like, oh, whatever. But the the whole game, as far as I'm concerned, if they touch a couple of things up, is going to knock every other thing in this every other MMO out of the water. It's just going to destroy them.
Yeah, they've already created a baseline and like a platform to really create something that has always been desired, but no one has ever been able to deliver upon that. You know, everyone has been for the last 10 years complaining about, you know, no one can make it an MMO that meets our expectations or what we really, really want out of an MMO, but this sounds like they're really trying to do that, and it really was a matter of time. Like, when are they going to be able to do that? Who's going to turn up and do it? And it sounds like these guys are the main contenders for the definitive MMO of our time, which would be, I don't know much, I know nothing outside of what you've told me, but that sounds pretty cool. I don't have an intention to play it after having heard what you've said, but I think this is great for the future of MMOs in general. That's what I will say.
Yeah, it's just something that you can accidentally sink, and I know this from experience, but it's something that you can accidentally sink 170 hours into in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well,
it was a complete accident, but it happened. Like, here I am 170 hours later, and it is just, I'm still here after 60 trying to level up my jobs and get gear. Because there's dungeons I haven't done, there's expansions coming out, there's new stuff. I have to figure out a way to make money in the game because I'm broke. I'm flat broke because I haven't been playing the market at all. But the market is so extensive. People cutting each other and just going out and finding ways to get materials you're not supposed to have yet. And it's just, it's insane. It feels really the way that, like, do you remember in Sword Art Online where he was like, oh yeah, there's these players that go around and wait for people to fall asleep and then like somehow get them to put on their PvP and then they kill them?
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of the level of depth that's going on in this game.
Well, that's the thing. Like, shows like .hack, Sword Art Online, which is no doubt influenced by .hack, they work off an ideal of what an MMO would be. It's always been about the concept of an MMO. Like, everyone has always been intimately aware of what would make the perfect MMO, but no one's been able to do it. And it's almost as if no one's tried to do it. That's the thing. Like, up until this point, yeah, like, this sounds like they've really identified what the ideal MMO is, and they're actually working towards it. Ambitious is what it is. I think that's really good. And
the cool thing is that it's all happening in like the, I don't know, maybe 1400s or something like that. Like, effectively, Europe found this supernatural island which has this resource called Azoth, and like, humanoid creatures can attune with the Azoth, and it gives them powers. So they've created technology like the Fire Staff, the Ice Gauntlet, and they effectively attune with it to use what is this game's magic. And the enemies in the world have all been touched by the Azoth as well. Like, there's pirates that show up that all have been living on the island, and they're attuned with Azoth because this is where they live. There's these ancient Mayan-looking soldiers that are all attuned with Azoth. There are these tree people called the Angry Earth. They're literally like just tree people made of wood, and they're attuned with Azoth. And yeah, it's really cool, and the lore is really good. And I like the idea that they're trying to, for lack of a better word, pilgrimize and settle on this island, but there's all of this supernatural crazy shit here that they're having to contend with.
Yeah.
So they're trying to build settlements and stuff, and that's what the expansions are going to be about. It's about them pushing inland.
Yeah, that is interesting. As much as I would like to continue this conversation, I will be finishing the stream now because I have to get going. Annoyingly,
Oh, no.
got shit to do. But
Yeah, I got to start packing anyway. I'm moving.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. A little new info for you there.
Yeah, just a little tidbit that is significant. Anyway,
Are you heading to work?
Yes, I need to begin the preparations for that. So I do thank you all for watching. I brought Ethan on towards the end there, and we certainly strayed from the topic of Monster Hunter, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it was a good topic of discussion, and, you know, in the end, I think the future of MMOs is in some way related to Monster Hunter. But more than anything else, I'm actually really excited by the thought of MMOs reaching that level that has really only been this twinkle in the eye of the most I don't know, imaginative people who sort of imagine this thing that can never be achieved in a game world. It's only ever really been done in anime, but yeah, we're getting there, and that's really good. But yeah, I will. I think I'll go live tomorrow. If not, then probably. Wait, isn't it Thursday today? Then if so, then I probably. Look, it's never a good idea for me to say when I'll go live because sometimes something will come up and I won't go live. So I will see you next time I'm live. Either way, I do thank you all for watching, and I bid you all farewell. Bye-bye.
Bye.